What's up, guys? It is Too Generic back at it again with your host Cam
Rich.
and this week talk about the UFC. Oh, I got the sound replaying. My fault. It was playing back. I don't know if you heard the echo. I was hearing an echo.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it? I heard an echo, and it completely just bungled the intro. But anyway, we're going to talk about UFC. What was that? 313.
Yep.
313. We're going to talk about Angel Reese's comments about the WNBA and if she's going to re-sign with them next year. Her and her collective WNBA players and what they're going to do in the collective bargaining agreement. We'll see how that happens. And then we have some NBA stuff to talk about as well. A lot of NBA stuff, actually. Luka versus the Celtics. That was a big game. Fun to watch.
LeBron getting hurt.
Right. LeBron got hurt. That's true. Luka looking sad.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like it.
I kind of like it as a Celtics fan, right?
Right. As a Celtics fan, I'm really liking this. You know, they were on a big run, and who was the one who stopped them? Who humbled them? Though LeBron got a little injured. So it's hard to say, but we won.
But they got, I mean, they went on a little bit of a run when he was out. I mean, they got it down to 4 after he was out. Because I think they were down by 9 with like 5.5 to play, and then they used the timeout, and then Vanderbilt came in for LeBron, and then he didn't come back. But I think they had gotten it down to 4 after LeBron was out. So
who knows? Maybe they saved their best plays, and they could have did better with LeBron, even better than they did with Van.
You would think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But other than that, do we have anything else that could potentially be on the pod? What do we have other than UFC, W, and NBA?
The little LeBron Stephen A feud.
Okay. We could start there and then go into the UFC because we'll start with a fight: LeBron versus Stephen A. Smith.
Makes sense.
What a great transition, Rich. You just came up with this on the fly.
I'm always thinking,
It's the wheels are turning.
Man, they never.
So basically, Stephen A. has been holding Bronny James, who is a grown-ass man who is in the NBA, accountable for what he does on the basketball court. Right?
Yeah.
Because not only is he a second-round pick and he was picked on the Lakers, but they also signed him. They didn't have to give him the 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Not many second rounders get that. Not many. They just get stuck on the 2 year.
But most second rounders aren't LeBron James's son.
Right. So it comes with extra expectations. You have been elevated as a second round pick. You were signed for a 4-year deal. Like what's his name? Kenrich Williams.
Yep.
Kenrich Williams was signed to a early big deal, but it was lengthy. It wasn't worth a lot of money, but it was lengthy, which means that guy has proven something to be good and could build out, and you want that piece in your whole engine, you know? I just don't get it with Bronny. And I think that's what Stephen A. is saying, and he's trying to hold him accountable, but Bron's all getting offended and everything. The problem with me, this is my one point, and then I'll kick it to you, because last year LeBron James was tweeting that Bronny is better than half the cats in the league. Most cats. Most cats. So either he's talking about Karl Anthony Towns, the cat, or he's just talking about the majority of the league. And let's say the majority of the league, let's say it's 50, even if it's 50% of the league, 50% of the league. Is Bronny better than 50% of the league? 50% of the league means you're the 7th man on the team. If we're kind of just averaging it out, 7th and 8th man, 6th man on the team. That's kind of where it goes to.
Right.
Is he the top 7 player on the Lakers roster?
No.
No. Is he anywhere near that? No. So I just think LeBron talked a lot of shit about a lot of bench players who don't really make money. Most of these guys are grinding for their spot, and they're riding the bench, and then they're just guarding LeBron in practice. Or, DeMar DeRozan or whoever's the star on the team. They're just giving them good reps and good looks. And you're a practice player, a glorified one that gets to sit on the bench. And that's how the 15th and 14th guys on most rosters are. The Lindell Wigingtons of the world on the Bucks. Like this guy is the 4th string point guard, and he's really never going to see minutes. And that's just how it is. They're just going to send him down to the G. They're going to bring him up when they need to fill the roster spot. And that's how you're treated. And LeBron really was kind of clowning those guys a little bit. If you really take a step back, and he's like, oh, these guys aren't nothing. My son's better than them. You have this billionaire who's bringing his son along, and now he's guaranteeing him, he's paying him more for this 15th man G League spot.
But I think it's more.
I'm saying he's better than them. Like, he was degrading half the league, technically. He's saying most guys, so 60%? He's better than 60% of the league?
But I think it's more LeBron just kind of motivating his son. Or kind of like I feel like, I mean, I get that he kind of was, knocking these other bench players or the other guys around the league, but I feel like he was more trying to just big up his son more than anything.
See, the difference is when LeVar did it, he said he was going to be better than Jordan. He said everyone.
Right.
LeBron drew a line for his son. He even set his own son's ceiling by saying he's better than most guys.
Right.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
He's not even saying he's the best.
That's what I'm saying. He actually set a bar for his son. He's better than most of these second string guys.
That is a crazy.
He said his son is like slightly above average in the NBA. Yeah. LeVar, and when other people talk about my son's going to be the best, LeBron set an expectation and the guy didn't even reach it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's slightly different the way I interpret the argument with Stephen A. and everything else. And don't come at the media. You know what I'm saying? The reason why LeBron James is because Stephen A. Smith has been saying LeBron James's name for 20 years every morning, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday if he's on a show. So 7 days a week for 20 years, he said his name. You know what I'm saying? Like, the media is a part of the NBA world. That's why they have to answer questions at the end and everything else, because it's entertainment. They're selling things. This is a product. At the end of the day, you have to be a good business partner. And I guess when he's saying Stephen A. is coming at his son, that's creating bad business between LeBron and Stephen A. now.
Right.
And he won't maybe give him interviews and certain access that he previously would have. And I think that's what happened for sure. But at the same time, it's journalism, and you got to be objective. You have to try to call it for what it is. You could be biased a little bit, especially in today's day and age. Stephen A. invented biases. He invented holding people's past against them and calling oh my God, Lamar Odom a crackhead.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that come with it. I'm pretty sure him and Lamar Odom aren't buddy. Called him a crackhead. But he said the truth. The dude was doing crack in the NBA, ruined his career, and then this guy went out and signed and traded for him. He's like, how did you trade for him? He was on crack. That's why, So, like, if Stephen A. Smith is going to call someone a crackhead, he's going to call it how he sees it. He's going to call it how it is. You got to take it for what it is. He's speaking his mind. And he said he's a crackhead. And he said, Bronny, probably isn't better than most guys in the league. And that's really the whole message of it all is LeBron degraded more than half the league when he said Bronny was better than him. A guy who was in college, who was coming off a heart surgery, who was barely averaging 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, LeBron said he's better than all of them right now. He was rehabbing his heart surgery on a minutes restriction. So when he actually is healthy and cleared and, the Lakers staff, right, their medical team, cleared Bronny James after him having a heart attack. They cleared him to play, but they didn't clear Mark Williams to play and had to waive the trade. So clearly he's recovered from the heart attack, right? Because they're very stringent on health. They've proved it. If they wouldn't let Mark Williams play and they wouldn't let the trade go through because their medical staff seen something wrong with him, then there's nothing wrong with Bronny anymore. And it was a fluke. And it's been managed and monitored, and obviously they're going to keep a keen eye on it. But he's healthy and everything now, so there's no excuse for when you're talking all this shit, saying he's better than most of the league. And then what do you think happens when the second string, whoever comes in, when Ty Jerome comes in against Bronny? What the fuck do you think he's thinking? LeBron said he was better than me last year. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm cooking him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, what do you think Killian Hayes thinks when he sees Bronny? Barbecue chicken. He wants to cook him. He needs to because Bron said Bronny is better than him. It's a whole thing. You do put a target on your back with all the shit talking and everything and getting him there. But now, when he gets to the court, he's prey. Yeah. Everyone's just hunting Bronny because the shade's there. And LeBron might have beat you in the playoffs and he eliminated you 4 times in your career. You want some little oomph back. And you could get that on Bronny right now. And now the media can see it, that he's barbecue chicken, and we're calling it what it is, and Bron's got a problem with it.
I just wish Stephen A. would talk about the other 54 picks ahead of him, though, too. I mean, I get it. He's LeBron's kid.
And they talk about the Lakers. ESPN doesn't stop talking about Lakers. So at some point, you're getting down the depth chart of who can you talk about, right? Because it's only Lakers. Lakers, Cowboys, they talk about the same shit every day.
Yeah. So I wish you would talk about the other rookies who aren't really in the NBA either, or aren't really playing well in the NBA either. So it's just I don't. And I think,
you know what? Just to be fair,
and I got the draft order pulled up.
I'm pulling. You know what's funny? I'm pulling it up myself. I think when you said it, I got exactly what you were talking about. Let's roast some guys who.
But I get it. He's LeBron's son, and LeBron's the biggest name, not one of the biggest names just in basketball, biggest name in sports. But you got to talk about some of these other guys who aren't even in the league really either.
Right, like Ulrich Kamchi. What are you doing, bud?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Ariel Hukporty just tore his MCL filling in for Cat. So, hey, he tried to go in there. He just ain't ready. He wasn't strong enough to run with the big boys.
Or A.J. Johnson.
But honestly, Ariel Hukporty is like 24, and he's not really a young rookie. He's been playing professionally forever. Mm-hmm. Like I remember I looked back at one of my mock drafts from 2019, and Ariel Hukporty was on it.
Mm.
He was a prospect back then. He was what Ulrich Kamchi is right now. A 19-year-old, really raw prospect that is just going to basically grow into a Clint Capella or worse. Like, that's the ideal spot for him, is what you want Ulrich Kamchi to be, is Clint Capella. But Bronny went 55th. We could talk about at 52, Quentin Post, who's been shooting the lights out for the Warriors. Let's talk about him. Give him his flowers.
Quentin Post has been great.
Quentin Post is a guard. damn near, because he does not belong in the post. He's a shooter. Bars?
Bars. That's bar.
Bars. All right.
The light bar.
Like light bar, a white bar, if you will.
A white bar.
Literally, Quentin Post. Who else? Kevin McCullough is actually doing really well for the Westchester Knicks. I follow the G League, not that much. I watch a couple highlights whenever I can, and I try to read up on things. He's killing it down there for Westchester. Have you heard about what he's doing?
I have not.
He's pretty damn good. He was a 4-year guy out of Kansas. I really liked him in the draft, in my mock draft, and I had him drafted in the second round. I liked him. I thought he was going to be a great player. He's kind of like Jalen Wilson a little bit. He's just good. 6'5", 6'6", forward, can score, can pass, can defend, can rebound. Just doesn't do everything elite. He's just a jack of all trades, master of none type player.
Yeah. Jalen Wells. About Jalen Wells, 39th pick.
Oh, man. Jalen. Hold on. Let's work our way up.
Okay. My fault.
Antonio Reeves has had some great games for the Pelicans this year at 47.
Yep.
I really enjoy what Antonio Reeves does. He's a really quick guard who could light it up. He's got a funky little shot, and but I like his handle. He's a solid guard. I think he could play in the league potentially, maybe 4 years max, though. I don't know. He's probably just not going to get the opportunities.
Jamal Sheed.
Oh yeah, Jamal Shed for the Raptors. He's played a lot.
He's been playing a lot. Yeah.
Davion Mitchell, got traded to the Heat too. So yeah, Jamal Shed, there's opened up this huge opportunity for him. And he's just this small 6-foot guard. And he was cool pre-draft. I was a fan of his. Definitely had him, I think, at the end of the draft. And that's where he was drafted.
And he had the layup last night, but it was too late.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
Made a layup last night, but he just missed it at the buzzer, so the Raptors lost to the Wizards.
Oh man, that sucks. You gotta float that one.
Yeah, you gotta float it. He did the scoop.
Can't scoop it. You had to float it, and that was it. You had to live with the results.
Yep.
Who else? Let's go up. I haven't seen much of Cam Christie. KJ Simpson just does all their commercials in like charity events. I know this for a fact because I watched the Charlotte game yesterday, and they had KJ Simpson. He's 6 feet, maybe 5'11", right? And he doesn't really have any like distinguishable features or anything. He's pushing a shopping cart with like just a Charlotte Hornets. It's a black tee and it says Charlotte Hornets in purple, but not even like it's like small. And he's pushing a shopping cart, and he's like, "Hey y'all," and then people are like, "Hey," going by. Nobody knew him. Respectfully, I watched it. It's just like they had him doing a whole bunch of shit, giving away free food and doing great things for the community. But it just was funny that nobody knew who this guy was. They just thought he worked for the Hornets and was there for a charity giveaway. They didn't know he played on the team. And most people wouldn't, honestly. Like if you walked by KJ Simpson 100 times, you would never guess he's an NBA player.
Right.
100 times. You would never guess. You would guess literally any profession in the world other than being an NBA player because he's about 5'11" and 6 feet in shoes. Going up, Adem Bona hasn't played as much as I thought he was going to play. I thought he was ready and pretty strong and had an NBA body. I guess he doesn't.
But he's played a lot more with Embiid out.
Yeah, with Embiid out, yeah. I think he should get more minutes. Drummond sucks. He's unplayable.
Yeah, he's awful.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've seen too much Andre Drummond for the beginning of the season. I watched a lot of 76ers. I haven't watched them really post All-Star break. Maybe I tuned into like a game or two, but really like actually sat there and watched an entire game and not just flipped back from 3 different games and shit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't want to watch a full 76ers game either.
It's disgusting. Um, but also Iguodaro was pretty solid this year. He could pass. He plays a little bit of the 5 for Phoenix. Bobby
Yeah.
Clinton hasn't played. AJ Mitchell is actually solid. He's just never going to get the opportunity.
And so there's just a bunch of players that Stephen A could talk about if he actually watched any of the games.
Right.
That are talking just about Bronny.
I think Kolek's killing it also in the G League. And he looked good when he played in the beginning of the season.
Lepowski's looked good at Utah.
Lepowski's actually getting minutes, and Mobo is really slept on for the Raptors.
He's starting to play more. Yeah.
Masai Ujiri is getting his GM skills back because for a little bit he was fucking up, and I think still he's signed a couple weird deals. I wonder what he has in store because it seems like he's building towards something. Quickly's got 30 million. AJ Barrett makes like 30 million. Scotty makes like 30 million. And then Ingram makes like 30 million. Jakob Poeltl's on a great deal.
Yeah.
He's like 12, 11 million, and he gets you like 10 and 10 a night, and he plays solid defense. So,
I mean, you got some pieces there.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of weird medium to large size pieces there with contracts, and now he's knocking out of the park in the draft with second rounders. So this is when you could build a championship team if you move some parts and some picks and everything else. Because if you have Jamal Shed on a $1.5 million deal for the next 3 years, and same with Mobo, you got them both on $2 million deals for 3 years or more, potentially 4. I think it's a player option or a team option, depending on how they negotiate it. So you have them for a long time, and now you have all these big deals, but pieces that maybe don't necessarily fit together. The only shooter you have is Quickly. Scotty Barnes isn't a three-point shooter off the dribble, can't create his own three. You're not getting that with Ingram. He doesn't create his own three enough. He wants to shoot middies.
Grady Dick got the catch and shoot 3.
Grady Dick got the catch and shoot 3. That is very true. But they also have RJ Barrett,
who should never
off the bench.
Who should never be
their starting 5. How are they going to do it? Like, it's going to be Quickly, RJ,
Barnes,
Ingram,
Poeltl.
I know. I was like, should Ingram be the 3? Who's going to really be the 3? It might be Ingram at the 3, Barnes at the 4.
Yeah, Barnes definitely at the 4.
Yeah, I think Barnes at the 4, and then Poeltl at the 5. So, but there's just not enough spacing, and I just don't know. I just don't know about that. It's just a weird team. So I think something's going to happen there in the next, year or two. Maybe KD goes there, and they make a move and trade Ingram for KD and something else.
Or trade Barrett.
Who knows? I like Barrett. I really do. I've loved RJ. I liked RJ better than I liked Zion at Duke.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
I wouldn't go that far.
I was convinced with RJ. I really was. And I'm not that wrong. He's still over a 20-point scorer. He's just stiff, and he can't play defense good. Like the way he's supposed to, like the way OG could get down in a stance and really guard and be flexible and mobile. RJ just isn't that. They just have different body types. RJ's still stiff on defense. Ron Holland is a little bit like this too.
Ron Holland, guy you could be talking about.
Right, Ron Holland is a guy you could be talking about. He's playing great for the Pistons. And I was listening to Bill Simmons, and he was talking about how Ron Holland and Isaiah Stewart are the scariest people in the NBA because they're on go at all times. They're ready to fight. And it is kind of funny that Ron Holland has come in at 18 years old and is like an enforcer. Like, how are you? You're the enforcer, bro? But he's intimidating people.
I can't stand Isaiah Stewart at all. got in Steph's face last night. Like, what are you doing?
He's leaning too hard into the bit.
And it's not working.
They want to be the bad boy Pistons, though. I think they're trying to get tapped in as like we're trying to get into the playoffs. We're gonna embrace the city, embrace the old culture. This is how we're gonna get it done. And
But you're not doing anything. It's Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren and Asor Thompson and Malik Beasley's having a career year from three. You have nothing to do with it. You're on the bench picking up technical fouls like an idiot and trying to fight every star player so you can get a name off of somebody. You're a bum.
But what if he makes Curry's hands a little shaky?
He didn't last night. Curry was hitting all those clutch free throws to close out the game.
It's true.
Didn't affect Steph at all.
No shaky hands. Yeah, so
instead you had Draymond hitting a three to basically win the game. He had Draymond hit a three at the end of the game. It wasn't Steph. It was Draymond hitting a three. How do you feel now?
I feel like the beef stew has gone cold.
It has.
It's cold stew now.
And I'm glad.
It could be called beef porridge at this point.
Beef porridge. Beef porridge. Dirty player and a bum that should stay on the bench.
There you have it, folks.
And just anything. I mean, just anything he's a dirty player too. I mean, it's cheap shot.
Speaking of the worst fighters, let's talk about the early prelims.
Okay.
Alex Morono.
Isaiah Stewart got me pissed off. Or Morono. Oh my God.
Who would win if you put him in a fight? Isaiah Stewart or Alex Morono?
I'm taking Isaiah Stewart. I'll actually support Isaiah Stewart in that. I don't care if he's a plus 1,000 underdog, whatever it is. I'll take if he's a minus 2,000 favorite. I'll take it and win 10 cents. I'm taking Isaiah Stewart.
You got to do it,
man. Yeah, Leal was just pressing him forward. It looked bad from the start.
Yeah, it did. You had a good call on that one. You were like, Morono's not winning this. Leal's destroying him.
And Leal's on steroids, too. He's got acne all over the place.
True.
And he's jacked. So
that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, with that combination, you're probably not going to win.
Right?
You're probably not going to win.
And then you're not going to win against a guy named the Hulk either.
Right. It's just...
The Hulk is next. Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Petrosian. Typically, we don't bet against the Armenians. We never bet against the Armenians. But when the Hulk is involved, if there are superhumans, that's when you have to bet against the Armenians.
A different ball game then.
Yeah, the rule book gets thrown out.
Yeah. All your support for Armenians is just thrown out the window there.
You just have to know that Marvel trumps that.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is.
Damn.
But yeah, it was kind of like it was a noticeable difference between them. So you could see where Bruno Ferreira could actually probably climb in the division.
Right.
Because Petrosian's a good measuring stick right now. He's a unranked gatekeeper. If you fight and beat Petrosian, you might be pretty good.
I don't know. He might be out of the UFC soon.
He might be, but I mean he's had a couple bad matchups.
He had to face Shara. Your boy
right,
Shara.
You got to fight Shara Bullet, and people are talking about he could be champ. So you can never say, "Oh, he's a bum. He lost to Shara Bullet." Anyone would lose to Shara Bullet according to the rankings now. So it's like, this is what it is. Oh, but we'll get into my parlay when we get there.
Okay.
I missed one. The parlay was solid.
Damn.
Josh Van versus Soryuya. I don't even know how to say his name.
Yeah, Soryuya was just begging for those takedowns. He did not want to strike with Van.
He didn't. It was like that's all he wanted was the wrestling.
Yeah, he was
barely even every time he would go like Joshua Van would try to throw a punch. It was just he back up.
It was a rough night for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he got 4 takedowns, but He just looks so desperate trying to get those takedowns, especially in the
1.
yeah.
He looked like Cam Thomas from 3 yesterday.
He looked like Cam Thomas getting a shot block last night.
Oh my! I don't know why he just didn't dump that off. He held it for a little too long too. Like he took one extra dribble inside. He tried to get way too close to the rim. He had all that space in the mid range. But I digress.
The Ruffy fight.
Ooh, the Ruffy got rough.
Man, with the wheel kick. Oh my God. That was, and he had hit him with the right hand earlier in the round and it kind of stumbled him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you could see from the angle on the wheel kick, Bobby Green didn't even see it. He wasn't even looking. It was crazy.
He got hit with it. Fell for
Bro, his arms.
behind him.
Yeah, his arms were just.
It caught him like
Man.
right here, somewhere behind. They said it was on the temple, but honestly, it was a little behind the ear, and that also is like the way you could get put to sleep if you get hit behind the ear.
Because it looked like there was an angle where it looked like it hit his ear, and then it came across and hit his face too, and hit like his nose.
It did?
There was another angle where it was like where they showed it, like where the camera was behind Ruffy.
You're saying it hit right behind the ear and then just like went across?
Yeah, and then it hit his nose because his nose was bleeding. But I don't know if that was from the right hand before, and then it just made it worse.
Oh, yeah. Could have been from the right hand.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that. Moving on. Lemos. I think we were both in agreement that that's a grown man and you don't fuck with her.
Ass man, you don't fight her.
You don't fight Lemos.
You don't fight men.
You don't.
And she's fought the best of the best.
She has. And that's why when you see her fighting, even though Yasmin Lucindo has more professional fights than Lemos, and she's only 23 years old and Lemos is 34, don't get it twisted. You could fight whoever she's fighting. I don't care who they were. They weren't who Lemos has been fighting for the past 10 fights.
Lemos is 37.
37. I thought she was 34.
But you look at her last 5 fights. Rodriguez, Whaley, Dern, Jandiroba, and now Lucindo. I mean, you're fighting all ranked fighters and you're fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
Just levels to it.
She's right. There's levels to it. She's battle tested. So when you have a newcomer coming in who's on a nice little win streak, on a good streak, I just don't think it's happening. You haven't got taught those lessons yet. This is the lesson fight for her now. She fought Lemos at 37 and knows, holy shit, this is the girl who's falling from her peak.
Right.
That's what it's and she's putting, these girls to a test. She's putting Wei Li to a test. Oh wow. And she's washed. Holy, I gotta step my fight game up, or I'm not in this no more. Like if that's the case, if I can't beat a washed Lemos, then
because she's had more fights, but she hasn't fought the level of competition.
Nope.
Lemos has at all.
That's what it's all about. I mean, if I played basketball against third graders for a year straight and I averaged 30, but then I go play in a men's league, I'm not gonna have the same results.
Yeah, you're not.
What I'm saying?
Averaging half of that.
No, these guys have been playing against men for the past year. And then you're going against third graders. It's not the same competition. You're not prepared for the same situations.
Yeah, you should be winning against third graders.
You should be winning, right? And I think that's a little bit of what this girl's early career is. She's probably fighting a lot of cans, and that's just what it is,
That's like me playing basketball against you when I was little. Like that's how I got better. Getting the ball thrown off my face.
Right, you got to get it off the heezy once or twice, and then you learn your lesson. And now you keep your head up and your hands up, and you're ready.
Yep,
because if that ball hits your face this time, you're catching it.
Yep, you got to get bodied in the post. Got to get your weight up.
You got to get the ball thrown between your legs a few times to know how to stop it.
Exactly.
You got to know the setups. You got to know, oh, he's trying to get me to split my legs here so he could whoop.
Yep, you got to learn from somebody.
You got to learn from somebody. And when you see somebody do like a in and out hezzy pull, you're like, oh, that guy's got handle. Now I know he's going to do some funny shit. He's going to try me.
Yeah, you gotta play against people that are better than you. You're never gonna get better.
Precisely. So I think this is a learning opportunity for Lucindo. Good luck. On to the next one.
We kind of knew this.
I mean, but yo, since the beginning of our pod, and I'd say even before that, I've been screaming Bahamondes. He's on the come up.
Just a great name too.
It is a great name. But literally retired a man last night.
Yeah.
The dude got he gets tapped out in the first round, and then you start screaming the Dana White as soon as you get tapped out. I'm done. I retired.
It's like, all right, fam.
He pissed him off so much he quit the sport. He quit his job.
Man.
He quit his job because of Bahamondes.
And like
that's when you know he's the real fucking deal.
And we were talking about before the levels. Like he was on this great streak. He beat Josh Colabo, Brock Weaver, Uros Medic, Jamie Malarkey, and Brad Riddell. Then he started to fight these top-ranked guys. He fought Gamrot. He fought Hooker. He knocked out King Green, lost to Moicano, and Bahamondes. All these top guys, there's just levels to it.
Yeah.
That level of competition. And once he got to ranked guys, he started to struggle.
Yeah, there's a big difference between who'd you say, Brad Riddell and who?
There was
Who was right before him?
Jamie Malarkey.
Oh my God, Malarkey.
Malarkey.
There's a difference between Malarkey and Moicano.
And Dan Hooker and Gamrot.
Right, and Gamrot. Gamrot is a lot different than Brad Riddell. They might kind of be built the same. They might be stocky little guys, but they don't got the same skill set.
Yeah, there's levels to this. And he sees that now.
Right, like Jamal Shed and Jalen Brunson. You put them next to each other, they look like the same guy, but you give them a basketball, they do different things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You put James Harden and Draymond Green next to each other, they look like the same guys. They're both 6'5", right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of built. They're not skinny. But you give them a basketball, and they do two different things.
One wins championships.
Yeah. Actually, one's got 4 fucking rings.
That wasn't the point.
And the other one doesn't. But the other one knows how to do some cool shit with the basketball.
The other one puts up 50-point games all the time.
One of them is a Harlem Globetrotter. The other one is one of the best defenders of all time.
Yeah, one of them's an MVP.
But for real, like, it's true. Like, just because you got some certain body type doesn't mean you can't have some sort of skill set.
Right.
And that's really just what it is. So, yeah, there's levels to this shit. Success against Brad Riddell does not mean success against Gamrot. Which doesn't mean success against Islam.
Right. Or any top 5 guy.
Like, there are levels to these wrestler, grappler dudes.
Right.
There's the American wrestler, you know, who's just gonna literally try to wrestle you the entire time and throw the heaviest haymakers possible. Little to no skill, all brute force, and that's it. And he runs out. That's Brad Riddell. Then you got Gamrot, who's like the European, puts the time in. He gets all the fundamentals and the skills, and he's got all this foundation and probably karate and like something, you know? And he uses some Muay Thai. He develops everything. And then you got the Dagestani wrestlers.
But then before that, you have Dan Hooker, who just doesn't give a shit.
Right, and then you got the Australian brawlers. You always got to have Australian brawlers in every division, and it's true. See, the UFC still has characters. I got to close my blinds. I'm literally turning into gold dust.
You're glowing.
I'm glowing.
Your skin is glowing.
Hold on. that should be a little bit better. A little bit. Still bright in here.
Yeah.
Let me try to.
Oh, that you kind of made it worse on that one. But now I can see your face better.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'm still visible.
Just light there, but I don't know if you close that. Is it gonna make you glow again?
After.
No, that's pretty good.
That's better, right?
Yeah.
It's a little more tolerable.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so get back to this. The characters.
We got characters.
There's always characters. Always going to be an Australian brawler. No matter what. There's going to be a Dan Hooker. There's going to be a Volkanovski. There's going to be a Tai Tuivasa.
Oof. That's rough.
Australian brawler.
Yep. That's a character.
They're gonna go in there and scrap. Like,
yeah, it's a character.
They're gonna box Jackson Deladolena.
Jackson Dallas.
He's gonna go in there. He's gonna scrap. He's gonna throw hands. Right? Like, am I wrong? Is it not just
right.
Australian brawlers?
Yeah.
They're never technical. They're, Volk was the one guy who was like, he was a rugby dude, and why is he the best fighter in every single way?
Right.
So, yeah, they just got the brawlers. Then you got the Brazilians are usually super good kickboxers or great grapplers. That they got the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, obviously, that big background. But sometimes you have the extreme kickboxer that comes out of Brazil, and nobody knows what to do with them. You got like Charles Oliveira, who had the best submission game, but you also throw hands.
Crazy power.
Jose Aldo, you think about him back in the day, really setting that standard of a Brazilian kickboxer, not a guy who wants to be on the ground. There's a few who broke the mold, but then they created a new mold of these Brazilian kickboxers. And now we got Piera, who last night, I feel like he just wasn't hungry.
Yeah, it was, I don't know what was throwing him off. Ankalaev was just, he was really hesitant to throw any real punches. He was throwing a lot of calf kicks.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because Ankalaev doesn't really respond well to the calf kicks.
Well, he was kicking the shit out of his leg and it wasn't bothering him.
Blachowicz chewed him up, and Rakic chewed him up too.
But it wasn't bothering him enough last night. He was still really pressing forward the whole fight.
Yeah. And he had him up against the cage. He fucked up that whole side of his face.
Yeah.
He got him good. Magomed with the left. And, Piera struggled in the past with southpaws. That was kind of the book on him, that he never has problems with orthodox fighters. The only times he ever gets caught is by a southpaw. So, Khalil Roundtree, we've seen him get caught multiple times during that fight. He might have lost that shit if it went all to the decision.
Yeah, it was close.
There's a way that we kind of rewrite history after a knockout. But he didn't win every minute of that fight.
Right, and then he just went crazy in that last round.
Right, and then he went in the fifth round, beat the piss out of him. So, sometimes you get lucky. But Piera, he's gotten lucky so many times in that fifth round, and he has great cardio. He rope-a-dopes a lot of guys. That's what he's doing, because he knocked out Izzy that way, and then he knocks out Roundtree that way. And I think he's starting to rely on that, especially now that he's older. This is the oldest he's ever fought. Obviously, every day is the oldest you ever been. So obviously last night is the oldest he's ever fought. And I think he's only going to just keep declining with athleticism.
And I thought it was really smart from Ankalaev to just keep pressing forward.
Right. But I'm saying the rope-a-dope has worked. So not always it's the smartest decision to press forward. But at some point, Piera's not going to be able to flip the switch in the fifth round. And Magomed, put his chips in the right bet.
And I just think when he's on his back foot, he's just not as dangerous. I mean, he's not as good as.
Champions are made leading the dance. They want to step forward. That's what a champion is.
But I mean, he's not like Izzy. I mean, Izzy is a great counter striker. Pereira, to me, when he starts to walk you down and stalk you, that's when it obviously becomes really dangerous. But when his back foot and Ankalaev was kind of pressuring him, and then he had all those takedown attempts. He had 12 takedown attempts, didn't take him down, but I mean, pretty much won the 4th round going for those takedown attempts and keeping him up against the fence or against the cage.
Yeah,
and it made him tired too.
Right, the clinch it works.
Yeah, even if you don't really have a whole lot of damage or you're not taking the guy down, it was still working. It still won him that round. Yeah. But I thought it was really close. I mean, I had Pereira winning 1-5, and Ankalaev 2-4. I thought the 3rd round was really close.
Yeah, he texted me that the 3rd was close.
Yeah, I think Pereira, as far as the numbers go, I think he outstruck Ankalaev in the 3rd round, but maybe Ankalaev had more of the damaging strikes, but I still think it could have gone either way. I mean, I wasn't mad at the decision, but I thought it was pretty close.
I think we skipped over Gaethje and Fiziev.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. Fiziev won the 1st round. Gaethje won the next 2.
And the 3rd round was really close. I thought the 3rd round was really close.
The uppercut.
The uppercut in that 2nd round.
Yeah.
Was like that when he had the uppercut against Chandler and knocked him down.
Gaethje talked about the head kick he hit him with and didn't drop him. He was like, I thought the head kick would have dropped him. I didn't know the uppercut was.
Right. And then you had some of Fiziev's body kicks. Some of Fiziev's body kicks are just so loud. It's crazy. But Gaethje just eating them.
I don't get it. I don't get like how he has so much pop.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
He really puts a lot of power on stuff. But yeah, you can't drop Gaethje. Gaethje's like, he's a tank.
Yeah. And now he's probably right back in title contention.
Most likely he's fighting Makhachev next.
Because he's number 3.
Or no, he's gonna fight, what's his name?
He might fight Sarukian.
He's gonna fight the Sarukian, and you never bet against the Armenians. So
because it's
I mean, does Gaethje have a superhuman nickname?
No, it's what is it? The highlight reel. That's his nickname. Justin the highlight reel.
Yeah, he's the highlight reel. So yeah, I don't know. No Hulk, no Captain America, no none of that. So
yeah, so it'd either be Sarukian or Makhachev because Oliveira's number 2, and he already lost Oliveira in the 1st round. I think they're already probably setting up a fight for Poirier. I mean, it would be cool because that would be the trilogy. They're tied up 1-1. They've both knocked out each other. But yeah, I guess it's Sarukian or Makhachev.
What would be interesting would be Sarukian and Gaethje. I think would really be a good fight. Like if they're not just gonna create Sarukian and Makhachev, then we gotta do what we gotta do and throw him against Gaethje.
Yeah, because that would clearly be a number 1 contender fight too.
Right, and if he beats Gaethje, then listen, Islam, you got to fight him.
That would definitely decide it, and it seems like everyone's pushing for the Makhachev and Topuria fight, so Makhachev can fight another featherweight.
What about Topuria versus Sarukian for the Islam fight?
I would like to see Topuria fight,
and then Oliveira Gaethje to maybe even be the replacement fighter for that fight.
Yeah, because I would like to see Topuria fight a ranked fighter in the lightweight division before he gets the title shot right away.
Me too. Because
he only fought. I mean, what did he had 2 title fights, and granted they were both knockouts, but it's like he wasn't. I don't know. I think you need a little bit more time if you're going to move up in the division just to get a title shot right away.
Right.
But I mean, he's a bigger name now. Maybe they're trying to push him.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing is that they're trying to get that Topuria and Makachev fight.
Yeah. I wonder what's gonna come. We got some fight nights coming up.
What's next? Is it Deladze and Vittori next week? Yeah.
Yep. And then after that, Leon Edwards and Sean Brady. Crazy that Leon Edwards and Jan Blachowicz are the main event and co-main event on a fight night.
Right. That's actually a really good card. Well, those last three are really solid. Well,
So what's happening with Jack Maddalena?
the last four. Della Maddalena's fighting Bilal for the belt.
He's fighting Bilal for the belt, right?
Yeah, because Shavkat got hurt.
Right. Okay.
Because Della Maddalena was supposed to fight Edwards.
When's my guy Morales fighting?
He's fighting soon, right?
Yeah, I remembered something came up, but I'm forgetting who it is.
Gilbert Burns. He's fighting Gilbert Burns on that card.
He's fighting Gilbert Burns on that card?
Yeah, that's May 10th in Canada.
Oh, May 10th.
Yep.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's that May 10th card. That's so
Pretty
far.
good card.
It is a really good card. You going with Natalia Silva or Grasso?
I like them both. I don't know. I hate that one.
I think I'd go Grasso.
Yeah, just because of the grappling, I guess. Silva's more of a striker. Silva's got great striking, though.
Yeah, she does. Bruno Silva is right before.
Yeah, then you got Bruno Silva.
There's Aldo. This is going to be fun. Aldo versus, what's his name?
Zahibi.
Not Zahibi, Ariel.
Oh, Ariel.
Ariel Hawani.
I forgot. My fault.
Andrade.
Against Jasmine.
Yo, they really they pulled the Brazilian legends out for this one.
Navo Sterling's supposed to be nice.
Who's he fighting?
Ivan Urslan.
Oh, Navo Sterling. Didn't he miss weight?
Did he?
Is he the guy that missed weight
I don't know.
recently?
He might have. He fought in December. Yeah, that's a really good card, though. Because the last Canada one sucked. It was the... What did they do? I think they did Pena and Pennington. I think that was the fight they did. That was one of the... Yeah, I think it was Pena and Pennington that they had was the main event.
Who is this Ivan Erslan?
I don't know. We got Kutalaba on this fight. And Kutalaba beat Urslan.
Kutalaba beat Erslan?
Yeah, he beat Urslan and then he beat Aslan.
Erslan then Aslan. Wow. That's crazy. Good for him. Good for Kutalaba.
Kutalaba.
But, all right, so if you're saying if Erslan lost, let's do some math. If he lost to Kutalaba
Mm-hmm.
in a split decision, in Kutalaba, what do we want? How bad is Kutalaba? Like where are we drawing the line here?
I don't know. He's just going to be a contender all of a sudden now.
I don't know. I don't believe Navajo Sterling because I don't think Tukos is that nice.
I'm gonna take Sterling.
You gotta take Sterling.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's see. Might be nice. 6'4", and his reach is 6'7". That's decent. All right, let me get back to this. What do they got here? Yeah, I think Sterling's going to get that dub. They're setting him up with some cans. Just know they're going to put him in the slaughterhouse when they have to.
Mm.
They will kill Sterling with no regard for his life. He'll get thrown in there with Rocket's next fight.
Oh my god.
And he's going to leave without a spleen.
Without a spleen is crazy.
Just think about a Rocket's leg kick, like to the body, the way he does his body kicks. There's certain guys that you got to, for their safety, you can't put them in there with certain people.
Right.
Like Francis Ngannou. You can't just put him in there with people. He really will put someone out. Like we've seen it plenty of times.
Right.
Even when someone goes down, he's going to follow up with hammer fists until that ref tackles him. Like, that is a violent man.
That's deep.
You can't throw him in there with Kutelava. Kutelava will die on his sword.
Right.
Like, die on his shield. Like, he really will stand there and get destroyed by Francis. You know, so certain people you just got to watch out for it. I'm telling you, they're going to throw him in there against a killer. It's going to be a wrap for Sterling. We'll see. Because the one fight he had against Tukos, I thought was so underwhelming. The fact that he couldn't finish this dude. I'm like, pause.
Fuck.
I have to throw that one in there.
Yeah.
Just for good measure. But who else is on this card? But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent card, honestly. UFC 315. I like it. Khalil Roundtree, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, that one's really good.
I think it's Roundtree.
The fight night, yeah.
Ikram's fighting. Chikadze's there. Piera versus Boost. Oh yeah, this.
Yeah, that fight night's
Zhang Minyang. This is the guy who knocked out Tukos and convinced me that Tukos is chips. So let's see if he beats Anthony Smith, then maybe Tukos isn't as bad, and this Zhang Minyang is actually decent.
Well, anybody should be beating Anthony Smith now.
You think so?
At this point.
Yeah. Yeah, last fight was rough. He had a whole story after. I don't even want to get into it. I feel for him. It was tough, but yeah, like he didn't sound like he had the motivation to fight. And he's like, I kind of just forced myself to get in here, which is kind of good, kind of bad,
kind of dangerous.
Kind of right. That too. 314 is an interesting card as well. But
yeah, that's a really good card.
You know what we need to get into?
What's that?
The Angel Reese discussion.
The Angel, oh man.
She's saying, if they don't give us what we want, we'll sit out. That is a direct quote. If they don't give us what we want, we'll sit out.
Yeah, well, no one wants to watch you play, so we're not missing out on much there.
That's the problem right now. Is she's speaking for the collective bargaining agreement, like out in public and saying, "This is what we're gonna do." I don't think it's the smartest move. You're a rookie. The season hasn't even started yet. You're still a rookie until you play your second year. You're You're still a rookie, and you're out here saying in public that you guys are about to have a walkout or what do they call a lockout? You have a lockout season. So
is right
I
now.
would leave that to the Nafisa Colliers and the Brianna Stewarts of the world who started Unrivals, paid you money in the off season, and now she's getting paid from another league, and she's biting the hand that feeds her with the WNBA. You wouldn't have the Unrivaled platform. You wouldn't if she was overseas playing. Do you think they would have invited her to play in Unrivaled like that or any other league?
Yeah, that's
No.
what we're about before the podcast.
Exactly. Before the pod we were talking about it. The WNBA still is the initial platform that gets you your money elsewhere. You get your ad revenue, your sneaker deals,
Yeah,
everything. Don't forget what's home base.
Right.
You build through the W, you get everything else. So don't get so short-sighted on you have to get X, Y, and Z. The league doesn't make money. But Angel Reese can still make money through everything else around it if she does it properly.
Right. And it's just the WNBA just doesn't make as much money.
It doesn't. And we love the W. We go to games. We love the support. I buy a WNBA League Pass every year. This isn't somebody who's shitting on the league and thinks the rims need to be lowered or something. Like, right. I love the sport. I love the sport for what it is.
And also, like, the Unrivaled League is cool, but it's also, I mean, it's just they can give you a little bit more money. There's less players. There's a
lot less players. There's no coaches. There's no training staff. There's no facilities.
Well, no, there is coaches. They have coaches. There is head coaches. I mean, I don't know if you think they're good coaches or they should be or they would be coaches in the WNBA or some kind of Division I college basketball program, but there is coaches. But it's not. I mean, but they have this, but it's less. I mean, there's less. There's half the teams that there are. There's 6 teams in the Unrivaled League. There's going to be 13 teams in the WNBA starting this season, and then it just seems like it's going to keep growing. But it's like there's more money to go around. I mean, there's only 30 players in the Unrivaled League, so exactly. It's
very self-serving and selfish.
Yeah, it's a difference.
For them to talk, it's the same thing with LeBron. It comes back full circle, low key. Same thing what LeBron was saying. My son's better than most of these dudes. So, like, if there was this little mini league, Bronny would be in it, and these dudes would be cut out. So Angel Reese is speaking because she's in the Elite 30. She's in the top part of the league, and she gets to go to other leagues and make big money too. So she gets to say, fuck you, WNBA, I'll sit out. I make all this money. I got a McDonald's deal. Yeah, but the other 13 girls on your team don't.
Right.
That's why you need to shut your fucking mouth and let them get paid too. And I'm telling you, these people are selfish as fuck, and they don't see what they're doing. They don't see the ramifications of their actions. And that's the problem of what Angel Reese is doing. And for maybe even, you could even say, who's emboldening her to say these things is the person creating this special exclusive league of the best, and you got to come and pay to see the best of the best and no one else.
And there's also
Collier, who wanted the original. She's the original creator of the league. She wanted an elite girls club of the best all-stars, and they just play against each other. And we're going to cut out the bullshit. We have 3 players out there. It's 3-on-3. We don't need to have these other people who are role players. It's 3 stars on 3 stars. We have little to no coaching, little to no facilities, little to no anything. But this is what we do. We're going to have a little one-on-one tournament with the best 12 girls, and the other 150 girls in the WNBA can go kick rocks, and they can watch it on TV, and they can like and subscribe. Because they're not in this league. We got 12 of the best, and the rest are scrubs. You don't deserve to be in this league. It becomes elitist, and that's why Bronny is facing all these repercussions. And I think Reese is going to reap what she sows. And people at the end of the bench might not fuck with her. She going a little too Hollywood too early, in my opinion. Because, yeah, you gotta realize what it actually is. and it's actually 15 girls on a roster, or maybe 12. I actually think. I think it's more like 12
Yeah, I think it's less than the WNBA.
than the NBA. Yeah, it's 12 girls on a roster, and then it's 13 teams now.
Right.
So 12 times 13 is 156.
Yep.
So, you got 156 people in the league, and maybe people know 20 of them, and that's what they're talking about. That's what Unrivals is. But now that she's got Unrivaled, she feels emboldened to say, fuck that other league, but that other league is employing more people and spreading the goodness of the league a little bit better. Like this Unrivaled thing is short-sighted. It only goes on for a short period.
That's the
and
other
then
thing.
It's gone.
The other thing
It's not for the culture. It's not trying to be year-round and build in communities, and you're in all these locations permanently. They're not.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's less games. So
There's
more
less games,
more
less
money.
fans, less content. It's very selfish. They cashed in, made some quick money selling what they do and doing it in the off season. But the problem is like I said, Angel Reese now saying fuck the W because this league is better, and now shit gets weird because they're trying to bargain for more money while saying I'll quit. It's a bad image. You need to sell up what you're doing, not sell down. That's just how I feel. Because now she's saying she's going to a lesser league. The league isn't even as good as the W, but you're trying to get big money. You're trying to get raises, and you're saying the league is worse than Unrivaled because it has lesser talent.
Yeah, and you want people to follow the WNBA, but then
you want people to follow the WNBA, tune into all 40-plus games now that are there because it went up from 32 games, 36, 40, 44. It's climbing. You're getting more minutes. You're getting more games, and we know how the contracts are structured. They get paid per game. So they're getting more money. No matter what, they're getting more money per game now.
But then she says this.
And then she says this. But there's 4 extra games this year, so you get 4 extra game checks.
Right.
What are you crying about?
I mean, it's just like you can't. It's not going to be the same pay, in the WNBA as it is in the NBA. You just don't bring in as many viewers.
Exactly. And the problem is when she's saying they better give us what we want or we're just walking out, and that's her saying because she's got paid already. She's good. The others aren't. There's other rookies in her class. Carmela Cardozo doesn't make the same money as Angel Reese.
And I don't think I also don't think it's a smart thing for her to say because it seems like the WNBA is starting to move into the right direction where more people.
It's moving exactly. Work with the league. And you know what's funny is all the GMs and all the players, when they made the whole Caitlin Clark thing race-based, and people want to take sides and yada yada and take Angel Reese and say, no, Angel Reese is the face of the league. Angel Reese is threatening to walk out on the league.
Right.
Caitlin Clark hasn't said that shit. Do you think Caitlin Clark's threatening she's not going to play anymore? No. She actually said, no, I'm not playing in that other Unrivaled league.
Right.
I'm staying here because my brand is growing the game and giving all these girls new opportunities.
Right.
That's a leader. She stayed at home base and didn't go bounce around for a quick check. She said, this is my brand. This is what I do. And if you want to see me, you come to the W. And I keep the W moving. And you had the fucking Washington, oh my God, the Washington Mystics GM, dumbass, a complete dumbass, bro. Because she was out there saying, Caitlin Clark isn't the reason why. We need to be giving credit to the black women who built this league and all this stuff. And I'm all for that. But when we're talking about the Washington Mystics only played 2 games in the Washington Wizards arena because they play in a different arena, a smaller arena, because it fits their small audience. But when they played the Fever, it sold out so much they had to move the game to the Wizards arena for both Fever games against Caitlin Clark. But that didn't happen against the Chicago Sky when you face Angel Reese.
Right.
Just build the league, give credit where it's due. We have some special talent. When Steph Curry was coming up and having his reign, the league wasn't saying, no, this guy isn't nothing special. You should be watching Ike Diagu get rebounds off the bench.
Like, yeah, I remember him.
He was a Warriors player. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers weren't trying to say these things. It didn't make sense.
Right.
We have a special talent. You just talk about the special talent. You don't water it down and say everybody's special. That means no one's special.
Yeah, I don't know why people want to go so far away from Clark when she's obviously helping the sport.
And she's obviously helping the sport. That's what I'm saying. She's not doing selfish ass things with it. She didn't start a podcast and her first title of her podcast be Angel Reese.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what Angel Reese did. She started a fucking podcast talking about the beef after she took cheap shots on Caitlin Clark. She cheered on cheap shots when Kennedy Carter hit Caitlin Clark. She cheered on people that were even on different teams when there was a beef and Caitlin Clark got another cheap shot. Angel Reese is retweeting the videos. She is like the most antagonistic person.
You know what?
She's the perfect heel. I don't know if people see it. There's some people that think she's an angel.
Bars. God damn.
But this is just how I see it. She truly is a heel. And the irony is her name is Angel. But she starts a lot of things.
You know what Clark has done? Absolutely nothing.
And Clark has done absolutely nothing. Didn't take one cheap shot last year on anybody. Just rained down threes and changed the fucking game.
But I'm saying she hasn't said anything bad about Reese.
And she's never said anything bad about Angel Reese publicly, privately, enough. Like, I swear, nothing has ever came out about Caitlin Clark bad. And if it did, they would talk about it every fucking second they could possibly do it. If Caitlin Clark messes up, the first thing that ever happens, it's going to be when Tiger Woods cheated on his wife. It's so bad he had to retire. He couldn't even play golf anymore. He had to pretend he couldn't even be good anymore. He couldn't even play. People didn't even want to see him win. They were like, no, fuck Tiger Woods. It got so bad because he got built up because he did the right thing for so long, But
they did that just to tear him down. I mean, they wanted
to tear him down. They wanted to tear down the black man in sports. And right now, it seems about like the opposite. They didn't want the black guy in golf. There were racist people in the beginning that didn't like seeing a black guy win in golf.
No, but then he won the 2019 Masters, and then everyone tried to act like they were supporting him the whole time.
Right, and then he won the 2019 Masters, had a whole comeback story, and then it's rewritten, and everyone was like, yeah, Tiger finally did his comeback. But there were so many open haters to Tiger. If you rewind the tape and you could find these old videos, I remember watching it and seeing it and just disagreeing at the time. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, I was there the whole time for his redemption story. The other thing is, like, he cheated on his wife, okay, but it's not like he killed somebody. Like, they treated him like he murdered people.
He got a worse treatment than Ray Rice did.
Exactly. You would think he committed a whole litany of crimes for what they like. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but goddamn, they went a little overboard with that.
OJ got better press than Tiger.
Right. He did.
He killed two people.
Allegedly, the glove didn't fit. So I mean,
the glove didn't fit, so he had to quit.
He didn't do it. But Tiger did, I guess.
But yeah, I'm telling you, the second there's like a leaked tweet or a leaked text of Caitlin Clark saying Angel Reese's lashes look ugly, something. It's gonna turn bad. It's gonna be the littlest. It's gonna be something so stupid, and they're gonna be like, "See, Caitlin was the antagonizer the whole time.
I'm gonna buy
she hated Reese from the beginning.
I'm gonna buy like 10 Caitlin Clark jerseys if she does that." Bro. But it's like you could see that like Reese wants her to respond or something, or she like it eats at her so much that
it really
doesn't say anything, and that Clark's a better player and that she's a bigger draw and a bigger name and all this. It's just, and so she has to go on her podcast because she's not good at the at her job, at the sport she's supposed to be that good at.
She's not getting the feedback from Clark either, because Clark doesn't play into it. She just rises above.
Clark doesn't respond to it. She doesn't go on her podcast. It's just like, it's got to kill her.
She doesn't tweet about it. She just goes to the gym.
No, she just goes to the gym and hoops. You see her arms? Have you seen her?
Caitlin Clark?
Oh, yeah. See, Clark is actually out there.
She's been lifted in the gym. She definitely looks different. Recent pictures. But I mean, she'll like post a video and it's like her and Lexi Hull and they're like drinking Starbucks in her Jeep and they're driving the practice. Like that's the type of corporate content that she makes. She's on her way to the gym with her teammate drinking Starbucks. You know, it's just like the way she markets is just different. She's always just showing you it's just the game. I'm going to work out. I'm practicing for the gym. I'm not getting dolled up going to the Grammys and the ESPYs. And
she's not trying hard. She's not trying.
But like Angel Reese in the middle of her rookie season, when she's trying to say she's rookie of the year and all this shit, didn't she go to the Grammys and she went to the Met Gala? She went to a few things where she got all dressed up and she had to fly, and then she played like shit because she did a double.
Mm.
She did a double.
Yeah.
She went that night and then flew the next night over and had to play. So it's kind of like a back-to-back. But right. I wouldn't say it's a back-to-back game. I would say she basically did a double. She worked 2 different shifts back-to-back and didn't give herself any rest for 2 different jobs. And, yeah, she played like shit the night after the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And you're going to – you know, she doesn't keep it about 100% of the game. She goes everywhere else.
Yeah. I don't know. She's ridiculous.
So, yeah. I just think it's this constant, like, she wants Caitlin Clark to meet her where she is. She wants to get in this, like, fight. But, yeah, it's funny.
And Clark just doesn't care.
She doesn't. That's why it's the best heel. And I think that's why it might work. Because Mr. Krabs, he doesn't stress about Plankton all day. But Plankton stresses about Mr. Krabs all day. He wants to steal his formula. He wants the formuoli. But he can never get it. He has all these different ways. He tries every way he can to screw Mr. Krabs over and to trick him and to steal from him and to blow his business up and to blow his house up and try to find his safe. And he'll do anything. And you know what Mr. Krabs just keeps doing? Making money.
Making bread.
Making bread. That's it. He just keeps selling his formula. He doesn't give a shit if there's people trying to fuck him up. He ignores them. He blocks the haters. And he literally just keeps making bread and doing his thing and making the best fucking patty you've ever seen. And that's what Caitlin Clark does. And that's who she is. She's the Krusty Krab while you got the chum bucket across the street just hating.
That was like a Colin Cowherd-esque rant right there. The way you made that connection. That was impressive.
I don't know how I just did that.
I don't know. It was good. It was.
You know, you miss all the shots you don't take.
All right. So Caitlin Clark is Mr. Krabs now. Okay.
Caitlin Clark is Mr. Krabs, and Ionescu is Wendy's.
Why is that?
Because some of the stuff, they just be slacking on it.
Slack Mamba.
Some of the stuff is just the best, though. I mean, you know, those little junior bacon cheeseburgers, nobody makes them like that.
The chicken Asiago Ranch Club, fire.
Chicken Asiago. A little frosty?
Learned that from you.
Frosty on the go, right? It's just so good. There's so many good things, but you never think to go to Wendy's first.
No, you don't. Doesn't have that name. Just doesn't have that name.
It doesn't.
Unfortunately. Man.
Sorry, Wendy.
Sorry, Wendy. I don't know how we got to this.
Me neither. But it was all the chum bucket's fault. That's what I blame it on.
All Angel Reese.
Fucking Plankton. That's what I'm going to start calling her. Every time I see Angel Reese, I'm just going to call her Plankton. It's a story as old as time, man. It's just Plankton and Mr. Krabs.
Man.
Well, what else? How do you think Luka looked by himself last night when LeBron goes down against the Celtics?
I looking at the box score, he made half of his field goal attempts and half of his threes, but watching the game, I thought Brown and Horford did a pretty good job on making it difficult on him throughout the night. We saw Brown pick his pocket a couple times. I thought they did a pretty good job defending him, to be honest. And then he was able to hit some shots in the fourth quarter. But it had a great kind of playoff feel last night. After they got off to the slow start, then Tatum and Brown just started going crazy.
So I just got a quick notification, not to knock you off that. Angel Reese just tweeted. I said what the fuck I said, and I'll say it again.
Yeah, that's really smart.
She's standing it. She just can't. She's so stubborn. She's so set in her ways, but she's a great heel.
Maybe
might be the best character out of everything, and this is also what I'm talking about.
Maybe she doesn't want to play
recipes. We need characters. Angel Reese. She's literally named Angel, but she's the villain. Like, that's a character. Do you get what I'm saying?
What you're saying? Maybe she doesn't want to play in the WNBA. Maybe she just wants to be a personality or something.
I know. She wants to do the podcast. She's all over the place.
Oh, you're frozen.
You're frozen.
Oh, now you're back. We went frozen for a second.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you're back now too. But yeah, maybe she doesn't want to play in the W. Go play in Russia. I hear they treat the W players well.
Crazy. Jesus.
I mean, there's other leagues too. Russia no, they really do. They pay well. You just can't smoke weed there.
Mm-hmm. Just ask one of those WNBA players. I forget who it was, but
don't ask Griner.
Oh, that's who it was. Oh.
Don't ask her about her time there. You ask people like
Brianna Stewart.
Stewie loves Russia.
Yeah, not anymore. Now that she created her own league, but
yeah, right. That's true. She might have beef with the Russian leagues now.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was a star for them. They would pay their players really well. Even Tierra McCowan, she goes over there in China and just fucking eats.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, really just she might 20 games, and they're paying her a bunch of bread that she makes, half of in the United States for the W.
How does Kennedy Carter not have a contract in the WNBA now?
I don't know how she doesn't. The one thing is you see Kennedy Carter, you see her average in China is like 30 something. I don't even know what she's at right now.
It's absurd. She
just scored like 56 the other night.
Yeah, I see it all the time.
But when you look at her team's record, it's like 3-21. She's on the worst team in China. So it's not like she's out there cooking China.
But I'm just talking about what she did in the WNBA last year.
She had, but some people, they get labeled, whatever it is, they don't like them. And now all these teams, you got to remember, these teams all kind of trade jobs. The coach of the Sun becomes the coach of the Sparks. The assistant coach of this is going to become the assistant coach of that. And all these players, they talk, the coaches, the staff, everybody talks. And I think a few players might rub some people the wrong way or have a bad experience somewhere, and they become blacklisted. And that's just what happens. Happened to Rashad McCants. I know he's a funny example, but he started dating Khloe Kardashian. He was averaging over 10 points in the league. And if you look at his NBA, what's it called? What's that website?
Basketball
Reference. Basketball Reference. When you go to his Basketball Reference, his career really just out of nowhere just ends. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He was having one of his best seasons, and he was young. He was like 27, and he's scoring over double digits, and then that's it. That was his last year. And he started getting labeled this, he was with the Kardashians and all this stuff, and he didn't care about basketball, and he got all these labels attached to him. And he was literally all 30 teams didn't want anything to do with him. They all band together and wouldn't sign him. Like when Kaepernick, same thing. All 30 teams band together, wouldn't sign him.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens like that. Like, hey, we don't want them in the league. And
that, I mean, bad of a teammate or doesn't get along with a lot of organizations because, I mean, she should have been one of the first signings when
right.
free opened earlier this year.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. Why no team is signing her? I would invite her on the Sun.
Oh yeah,
like we need someone. We genuinely need someone. She's not the best defender, but she still actually like tries. She gets steals and shit, and she even blocks shots. She glassed somebody's shit last year.
Yeah, it says she's averaging 31.4 in China right now.
Yeah, 31.4 in China, but what's the team's record? What's the standings?
It says Wuhan is 26-6.
Her team?
That's what it says, unless I'm reading this wrong.
I feel like I was reading somewhere where her team was like dead last or second to last in the conference or something.
There's this other team. I don't know. Jin, they're 0-32.
0-32. My God.
Yeah, she's not on that team. But in the China League, it's cool to have those stats, but I mean, you just look at the WNBA stats in the league. She's actually, if we're talking about the WNBA, she should definitely be in the league. It's shocking to me she still isn't. But if she's that much to a problem with other players or a problem in the locker room or the organization, I guess. Crazy.
The question, same thing with Cam Thomas.
Yeah, but he's still.
They haven't given him the extension or nothing. He's still on a $4 million deal going into free agency into the offseason.
Yeah. You better go.
Dude's averaging 23, 24 points a game now. Like
some Vegas stuff.
So you let the dude walk? But why isn't any, like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody traded for him at the deadline. What's happening? What's the truth?
Right.
What are the stories behind the scenes that we don't get? Because when they're on the court, they're one of the best players out there. And anybody with eyes could see it. But what's the other issues that are stopping the other things from happening?
Yeah.
It's a big question for me.
No sense to me.
Yeah. I don't think we got any new W news other than Angel Reese stirring the pot.
No. Yeah, nothing's really going on. Season starts, still 2 months away.
Yep.
They say LeBron's out 1 to 2 weeks with that groin injury. I just saw.
Really? Oh, shit.
Yeah, expected to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks.
Yikes. And on that note, that makes me think about my fast break lineup.
Because he had that groin injury the first year he was in LA.
Yeah, he did.
So I don't know if that's the same one. But
yeah, hopefully not.
It's LeGroin.
So I started the week 3 wins in a row. I was doing great until last night. And I was 3 3-pointers off. Derek White only made 1, and Cam Thomas only made 1.
Damn.
Beasley shot under his average. He usually makes 4 a night. He only made 2. Lillard shot well. He made his average 4. Curry, about 4, same thing.
Yeah, Lillard hit some big shots in the fourth.
But yeah, CT 1 for 8, and then 1 for 5 from D. White.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a rough day for me. 12 for 44. Percentage is awful.
Oof.
Right? It's like my guy shot like 20%.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it was just bad. Today, we got to make up for it. 5 blocks, 5 steals.
Yeah, I mean, Lopez.
I feel like
best shot blockers in the league.
Is there too many shot blockers in this lineup?
Well, Jalen Williams is good.
Right, J-Dub's good. KD usually gets a steal. Giannis is good for defense, but do you think I should potentially switch Giannis out for something else, for a Caruso, and get a steal?
But Giannis plays more.
Right.
Giannis plays a lot more. I like Kevin Durant because he can get you a block and a steal. I mean, he could have a night where he has 3 block shots.
Would I be better to pick McDaniels over Giannis here?
Who does McDaniels play?
They're playing the Spurs.
Who does Giannis play?
Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I think the matchup's probably better than Daniels, but
You're right.
I mean, the matchup is better. I don't know. But
And then there's always Kawhi too, but
it's not tough.
all right, I'll do that.
But the Jalen Williams one, I mean, Jalen Williams, I think, is 5th in the NBA in steals. Lopez, I think, is 2nd in block shots. Durant could be good for a couple block shots. Mobley's a good shot blocker.
And they could all get their own steal too.
I thought you had 5 blocks and 5 steals.
Should be.
Yeah,
Yeah, these threes, man. Imagine you start Curry, Beasley, and Lillard, and you still lose. Like it's crazy. The best 3-point shooters in the league.
yeah, you would think you'd win with just off of those 3 guys. Whatever the other 2 guys do, whatever they do is fine.
Right, but no, 10 threes from them wasn't enough. And then after that, did 5 players who combined for 125. D-Book, Shea, Tatum, Paolo, CT.
Right there.
Yeah.
Although Booker's scoring is down this season, but it's still Devin Booker.
But it's against Memphis, and hopefully, he'll try to go off against Ja or something. I don't fucking know. It's a big-time matchup, and maybe he'll take the lead.
Yeah, he should be able to get at least 20.
Like, they should treat that like a playoff.
Right.
Playoff-type game.
Well, no, the Suns need to treat every game like a playoff game. I mean, they're not even in the playoffs right now. They're not even in the play-in right now.
And then here, 25 assists. This one seems really easy. It's almost so easy that it's to, like, waste all your guys.
You said how much what?
25 assists.
25 assists.
But how long is Halliburton going to be out for?
I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be long.
Hip ruled out. Maybe I could just put Giannis for the time being. Yeah, I'll do that. But Cam Thomas's scoring's down, but the assists are up. He had a 7-assist game, and then he had another good game the other night.
Did you see? He said like the other night he was like, "Are you doing anything different or something like that?" He was like, "No, guys are just making them."
Yeah,
guys are just.
It's true. That's what I've been saying forever. He would dime Mikal Bridges up so much. Whenever it was CT passing to Mikal Bridges, Mikal would miss. Whenever it was somebody else passing to him, he'd make it. And it was like a trend. Like,
But that's
I actually looked up the stats last year, and whenever CT would pass somebody the ball, their field goal percentage would go down. Like, collectively. Like, everybody would shoot worse. But it's like, how? Because CT's getting double-teamed most of the time. So somebody's open.
Yeah, it's just hilarious that he actually said that.
Nobody makes shots when he passes them the ball, and he finally is like, yeah, they're just making them.
He was like, that's what happens when you pass the ball. Usually you get assists. It's like Terry and Prince when he was at Baylor explaining what a rebound is.
Right. It was like, that's what I've been saying. Like, he's been a playmaker. He's been around bums.
Right. Well, he still is around a lot of bums, too.
He was playing his rookie year. It was Patty Mills and Seth Curry and him.
And now it's...
And Joe Harris and Blake Griffin, and he couldn't even move.
Right.
They traded, what's his name? Nick Claxton was out for a minute.
Now he's got D'Angelo Russell with him and Trendon Watford and Jalen Wilson.
Who are a little bit more capable players, low-key.
Yeah.
And now he's getting dimes. He had 6 the other night, 7, 3 last night. But if anything, he could have even had more.
Right.
He's been diamond. But yeah, the Celtics in general look pretty fucking good. And after them beating the Lakers like that, I don't think there's any way nobody's beating them.
I still got to see what the Cavs do in the postseason. I mean, the regular season is great. They've played great in the regular season. They got the best of the Celtics in that last matchup, but I don't know. Maybe it's biased too, but I still think the Celtics are really good, and I would pick them to go to the finals.
I might be biased here, but I think the Sparks are really good.
No, well, great. I think they're gonna go undefeated this year. That's
Undefeated.
That's me. I mean, you see the level of talent they have.
Who can beat this?
I don't know.
This is just top tier talent. They don't teach this.
No, they don't. You can't.
You can't find that in the gym.
Listen, you can't. It can't be taught. You either have it or you don't.
You have it or you don't. In the Sparks,
they got it.
They got it.
They got it.
Sparks got it every time. Yo.
Man, that's crazy.
What
do you got in this this MVP matchup today?
Kia Jackson.
It's always you're right.
But
that was a stupid question, honestly. That was a stupid.
I don't even know why you even asked that.
What a stupid ass question. Oh my god.
But it's the MVP. It's the finals matchup right now. Oh yeah, it is.
NBA matchup. Thunder. Nuggets Thunder. I don't know who would you pick for MVP?
It's Nuggets Thunder today. Oh, I was on the wrong fast break day looking at the schedule.
Yeah, Nuggets Thunder at 1:00, or I guess 10 a.m.
Oh yeah, it's starting soon.
Yep.
I'm taking the Thunder.
But who would you take for MVP right now? The season ended today.
Oh, honestly, it should go to Jokic.
Thank you.
But it's gonna go to the free throw merchant Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
because of voter fatigue, right?
Yeah.
He's top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. He's ahead of him in all these advanced stats. How is he not?
I am giving it to Jokic, but I don't think it will go to Jokic.
I don't think it will go to him either. I mean, I get the Thunder have the best record in the Western Conference, and I think they have 11 games on Denver. But what Jokic is doing is just absurd.
Right.
I mean, I can't believe. I don't know. I don't know how
he's having a down year. You know, he's dealing with everything. He's playing with Russ. He revitalized Russ.
Yep. They work really well together.
LeBron called him a vampire, and they sent him to Utah.
Yep.
A vampire.
His most he hates Utah so much.
He hates Utah. They send him to Utah. Like, they did him so fucking dirty. Not only do you trade the man away to somewhere he doesn't want to go, but you motherfuck him on the way out.
Yeah.
Like, that's a dirtbag move. And they did that. And they're talking about tearing a black man down and all this stuff with LeBron and Stephen A. and getting mad. But you called Russ a vampire on the way out, who's a community man who gives back and actually really gives back in LA, you know? Cares about his people and shit. And you're going to go and call that man a toxic poison to your locker room, a vampire sucking the life out of the locker room?
LeBron said that?
Yeah. Vampire was the exact quote. That's why I keep saying it. Vampire sucking the life out of the locker room. So when something like that comes out about Russ, it's very funny that he gets upset about Bronny and not performing all this shit when you talk like that about other players. But why can't people talk about that player? Oh, because he's your son.
Right.
You know, and that's the hypocrisy. You could tear down everyone else. You could say half the league sucks compared to your son. You could say Russ made your team suck because he had bad vibes or bad energy or whatever. You could say all these things about people, But the second someone says that guy shouldn't be in the NBA, you got upset because it was his son.
Right.
So don't throw stones if you live in a glass house.
Bars.
Angel Reese, same goes to you. Because
You
the
admit.
second you say the WNBA sucks and all this shit, and you're not playing for them no more, don't be mad when all your girls that are on your team, your other 11 girls who don't make a half as much money as you, are now worried about, oh, damn, I need to get a salary. I got to take a job to be an assistant coach on a Division I women's college team now. I got to go work for whoever. Where do you go as a professional basketball player if your league shuts down and you don't got bread? That's why it doesn't happen in the W.
Right.
Like, there are some things that could really get fucked up if she decides to do a lockout with the top players and everything. So don't throw stones. And now, you know, all the girls who are supporting you, some of them are going
Oh,
to
they went frozen.
supported a lockout, and now they're out of a job. But you're sitting on your McDonald's money, so you're sitting pretty.
That McDonald's money, though.
That McDonald's money is good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. And on that note, we'll leave there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Rich, any last words?
Got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know. I was thinking of something. I got nothing.
Got nothing? All right. Well, I'm loving it. I'll see ya.